it doesn't matter where or what or how. Camping, hiking, it could be, driving an hour away and just spending an evening. If you care about who you're doing it with, the activity now doesn't matter because the experience is who.
You do need to take care of your body. And so do those things so then you're energized throughout the day. Have a good sleep, do your workouts, do your stuff.
So, we're on a budget right now, so we're just staying in and, watching Netflix. Budget a different way.
And you just start believing in yourself differently and looking at the world in a different set of eyes. So I'm so thankful that we spent the money on that stuff and our careers got to force this into it.
Yeah. Don't cheap out on the mattress.
Yeah.
Don't cheap out on the pillow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's a third of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about. So thank you, Darren.
All right.
Hey.
What's happening today?
Oh man, good day.
So here's something that I was thinking is, if you look over the internet, you scour all over, there's so many talks on if you want to save your money and not spend it, there's a ton of lectures out there to be like, don't spend your money and here's where you save it and here's how you save more and here's how you prepare for retirement.
Yeah.
I want to go a different way. I want to talk about what do you spend money on? Like when you're like, okay, don't live your life without doing these things. Make sure if you're going to spend your money, don't cheap out here. Spend your money here because, if you miss out on this or if you don't spend your money here, there's going to be some ramifications or it's not going to be as good or whatnot.
Yeah.
What is it that you spend money on? What's priority list where you're like, I'm never cheap here?
Yeah. I think my main thing that I try to do with my money and pay extra for every time is on depreciating assets. Anything that will go down in value, pay extra for so you lose it faster. And so that would be my main objective every time.
Garage sales.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Anything that can lose instantly.
Right.
So, no, the real answer for me would be travel and experiences. Those would be the things that I look at and I put them together because it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to travel. Like the experience could be, which is kind of travel, but camping. Like some of my favorite memories growing up is camping and you're renting a site for $40. You got a tent, you're ready to go. You're halfway there. So it doesn't have to be some extravagant trip or expense that you're doing, but paying extra for that and like finding ways to be able to do that. So if someone's on a tight budget, to be able to carve out other areas in your life. And if that means $100 a month and you're carving that out in order to sacrifice that monthly to be able to gain $1,200 so you can do $1,200 more on that trip, I think that's what you're going to remember. You're not going to remember those other random things. As you get older in life, you're going to look back and be like, oh man, thank goodness I have this amazing wardrobe of clothing and shoes. That won't be the thing that you think of. It will be that trip or that memory or that set of memories of us going to that lake or whatever it was. Those are the things you're going to remember. The laughing with your family and friends, like that's the stuff. So I think paying extra there and ensuring that is happening and that you're not tricking yourself like, oh, I think I'm going to do it. No, you are. Like you're carving out intentionally for those traveling moments. I think it's worth every dollar.
Yeah, 100%. I would agree. The experiences would be it, and if that's travel to you, or if, like you said, if that's something else, like if you live close to mountains and you love to hike, well then just spend money on hiking because you love it.
Yeah, get out
and it's experiencing, and most likely you love hiking because of who you're doing it with and who you share that hobby with, and you get to go, have great conversation and hike and accomplishment and views and whatever it is, but spend money on it. If you enjoy it, and do it right, and I would agree with travel. It's and be honest with yourself on how much you're spending on travel if that's what you want, so that I think it is true that you sacrifice in some areas to gain in others, but spend your money on what you're going to remember when you're sitting there. I'd rather be 85 years old and broke and remembering all the cool laughter and memories and things that I shared with people and experiences that I had, than to be at 85 and be like, man, I got tons.
Yeah.
I crushed it with my bank account.
Yeah.
And I know there's probably a healthy mix and people could argue with us we could argue that in circles, you know, as far as spending the money on
Yeah.
experiences because you don't know if your health's going to hold up. You don't know you don't know what tomorrow brings. Like, make sure you're living as well.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, yeah, but if it's really bad at retirement, it's going to be really bad. You know, like, I mean, you could argue in circles, and I don't think anyone would ever win.
Yeah.
Everyone would have a point,
Yeah.
you know, to say. But no, I agree with the experiences, and I think it's because people. I would say it's always the only thing you're ever going to remember when it's over is the people.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to remember who you did those things with, and that's part of the experience. And so there's two, is that there's an experience and then it's a who.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always say when you travel too, is that a who trip or is that a what trip? Right? Like, and both are equally important, and you spend the money on the experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a who trip, it doesn't matter where or what or how. Camping, hiking, it could be, you know, driving an hour away and just spending an evening. If you care about who you're doing it with, the activity now doesn't matter, because the experience is who.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's what.
I like that.
No, the experience is what. Like, I'm gonna go, see the pyramids. That's the experience.
Mm-hmm.
It does become a little bit of who, because you're probably going with someone you care deeply about, but you know, you're focused on, I really want to see the pyramids. That's something that my brain needs, and I really want that for myself and that experience.
Yeah.
So then that's a what experience, right? And I think if you define those, you'll kind of really know, and you'll be able to know what to spend your money on.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree, experiences is key. One thing for me, I would say personal development is invest in yourself, how you process, how you think, because I think it makes, you know, on the flip side, it makes your experiences better because you're more educated. You maybe less anxiety about things, or more confident in yourself while you're doing things, so that you get to experience the culture and meet new people better, whatever it is. But I would say personal development for me is one that, don't cheap out on that.
Yeah.
Don't, you know, buy the book, you know, go to the conference, go to the speaker. Invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself to improve, because we've never arrived in how much we should improve as individuals.
Yeah.
On how we think, how we treat others, how we show up for our loved ones, how we show up for our friends. For me, it's personal development would be one, is that I'm every year ferociously trying to find something that invests in myself to grow.
Yeah. That's such a good call. Yeah. Pay extra for that too. And I actually was thinking about this as you're talking, how much I've taken for granted that we, coming from the real estate industry, and it's, you know, sometimes we get made fun of that we're like, oh, you're always at the next conference. Yeah. And it's part of our careers, is that as real estate, whether it's mortgage broker or realtors or financial planners, like those types of commission-based careers are often in the personal development world. They're often doing conferences and big things like that. But I've taken it for granted, because there's so many industries that my friends work in, and they make great money as well. So it's not like they are suffering in their industry. But if they're in construction, there's not multiple conferences always being held. It's not like, it's not the same. And I really take that for granted, because we're very lucky. Yes. Of how many times we get to go hear an amazing guest speaker. Like the list that we've had from people that we get to hear from, like Tony Robbins, and you've seen John Maxwell, Dan Martell, like the list, Keith Cunningham, like these are amazing people that we get to be learning from, and it's part of the career. It's just part of the industry, and yeah, like what a lucky thing that we get to be a part of.
Right, and the environment is that of to grow.
Yeah,
as an individual,
this is worth the money.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and it is. We probably are very fortunate, you know, and we do take it for granted that that's the culture. Yeah, is you should grow as a person, grow as a person and a business owner. Like just you can always improve. Let's fresh ideas and how to process things and how to look at the world. Yeah, and I think it's extraordinarily valuable, and I don't think you can put a price on it. And I think if we just the pocket of income, if we just talk about income, and if that's something that somebody is interested in growing their income, I find that the more that I would spend on personal development, I do think that that's a true statement. That's not just said by people that want to sell you coaching. It is a true statement. Is the more I invested in myself, the more the more money I would make, or the more success I would feel in my life, whether
Yeah.
that be for the way my life was designed, my time, anything like that. The wealth is in different ways. Wealth is people, and it's time, and it's money. There's lots of definitions of wealth, but I would find that the more I developed personally, and the more I learned about myself and how I'm processing and thinking, the more opportunities came my way, and the more cool things that come into my life, in those categories, whether it be people, time, or money.
Yeah, we're completely different people because of personal development. 100%.
Yep.
Like the things that you take away. And Darren Hardy was a big person for me, for both of us, and had transformed me early in those years. That would have been the first guru that I probably started following.
Right.
And a little bit of Zig Ziglar because my dad was into him. John Maxwell, I'd heard a bit of him in the past. But I would say Darren Hardy was that first person that I was like, oh my word, this is cool. I feel like my mind is being opened, and I feel like a door has been open to an area that I didn't know existed of who I am, and personal development was that thing. And I was like, this is special,
Right?
Yeah, like I'm more confident in this area, or I have less fear about this, and you just start believing in yourself differently, and looking at the world in a different set of eyes. So I'm so thankful that we spent the money on that stuff, and our careers got to force this into it, because now it's like, oh my word, that is the way to do it. Yeah. And Darren Hardy was huge for me. Random thing about Darren, as I was talking, I was like, one of the things that I loved about Darren Hardy was he's like, you're going to spend like a third of your life sleeping, and make sure your room is set up the way that you want it, and get a great bed, get a great pillow. So I did that. I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. Yeah. And now that I am older, I'm like, man, I'm really glad that I learned that early on, because man, you get older, like I'm seeing physio right now for my knee. I'm hobbling around. You're like, this is crazy. I'm not used to this aging body thing. I took it for granted. So I'm glad that some of those things that Darren Hardy taught, he's like, hey, and by the way, if you want to be a crushing machine with business and entrepreneurship, you do need to sleep well. You do need to take care of your body. And so do those things, so then you're energized throughout the day. Have a good sleep, do your workouts, do your stuff. Your body is your vessel.
Yeah, don't cheap out on the mattress.
Yeah.
Don't cheap out on the pillow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's a third of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about. So thank you, Darren.
I'm, on the business side of things as well, like, and that Darren Hardy was impactful, and a little bit too why, I got to, when you... Demographically, Darren Hardy was one that he was really ramping up when we were starting to get into the personal development world, and really paying attention to people that are out there. So then also introduce you to the people that he listened to. Yeah. And then that's why I got to listen to lots of Jim Rohn's stuff. Oh, where it's just gold, and it's timeless, and it lives forever, and they just and he just makes you think in a different way to process, and it's that's Jim Rohn. That's really great stuff. But one thing on the business side of that I think you can never take for granted is that don't cheap out on great people when it's in the business. Be fair. Mm-hmm. Be fair, and offer, treat them well, and offer opportunities for growth. Yeah. Because that's just, that's just the best people make you the best company. That's just how it goes. So I think that's one thing too, that people you can never discredit talent. Yeah. Right. You really can't.
Yeah. No, totally agree. Yeah. Worth the money every time. And like I have this recent experience, I won't say the company name, but of like dealing with cell phone and internet providers and stuff like that. And they're really all offering the same product, but you deal with this one salesperson that was amazing, and you're like, oh, I love that company. Right. The company is almost identical, but I'm like, this is the one. And it's just because I talked to a great salesperson. The people, don't chintz out on that. You need the best people, pay them. Yep. And like build your company around those amazing people.
Yeah, because they're going to grow. And that really is the appeal of AI right now. Is AI is not going to replace great people. Yeah. They're going to replace lousy people. Yeah. But they're going to make great people unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's going to do. So that's why there's still value. You're always going to need them.
Yeah.
Always. That's never going to be a replacement.
Yeah.
So I think people matter. And on the personal side, I would say spend money on the people you care about as well, to be with them, and to host them, to connect with them. You can never not spend, like, it's the same example when I gave is that a people trip, or is that a what trip?
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes where I've said yes to trips where I'm like, it's just my favorite people are going. I really like the people going. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, why'd you pick that place? I didn't. I just, the people I really cared about were going, so I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And then the friendships get deeper friendships, and you get to be around people you care about, which feeds your life. It feeds your soul.
Yeah.
To be around people you really care about and that you can laugh with and have cool memories with. But I would just say on a day-to-day basis, that's like, don't, that Netflix show can wait, and you're not going to wish you had one more episode. You're going to wish you had one more dinner. You're going to wish you had one more drink with your friend.
Yeah.
You're going to wish you had one more conversation. That's what you're going to miss. So, we're on a budget right now, so we're just staying in and, watching Netflix. Budget a different way. Budget a different way, because don't miss the dinner.
Yeah.
You can make the dinner. Just sacrifice something else in your life. But don't, if someone says, let's go for dinner, and it's a friend that you love dearly and you want to connect with, you know how many times that you'll wish if that friend was no longer there the next day, that you'd be like, man, I did one more dinner.
Yeah, there was
one more dinner
could have carved out.
And I know it's cliche, and you're gonna miss that person, but I do think it's cliche for a reason, because people older at the end of the road are always screaming at us, the people you're gonna miss the conversation.
Yeah,
hug the person.
Yeah.
It's like be friends.
Yeah.
Like, go make the effort.
Yeah.
The effort goes a long way.
On your thought of paying extra, like on that who aspect of it, when you're paying extra to be with the group that you want to surround yourself with, you're like, those are my people, and I want to be there for them and with them. I think of that way, like in the quote of, I don't know who said it, maybe that you're the sum result of the 5 closest people in your life. So whoever those 5 are, let's say if we work in or look at friendships, is that 5 of my closest friends, I'm kind of the sum result of that community, those closest 5. And I look at that and I'm like, man, that's a big deal to be able to pay, to be able to go out for that dinner where you're like, that's where I want to be. And you can change your circle. It's to be able to, like, I want to be challenged in a different way, or I want to be, that's a group that I want to be a part of, to be paying that. And in order for you to, do business with them, or travel with them, or just do life with them, that would be something for sure. Like, spend the money to be available for that group, because it'll transform your life.
100%.
The birds of a feather, like it really makes a big difference.
It does, and I think the pods too. And I look at it in pods of there is kind of a section of your life that you want to, okay, these are the 5 people I surround myself in business, because I really have these business goals. But then there's a pocket of people where you're like, these are the people that I surround myself in when it comes to like living life and laughing and having fun, because they're kind of who I am as a, in an enjoyment person, that kind of thing. And then this is a section of people with, maybe it's hobbies or something like that.
Yeah.
There can be sections of people that are different, right? Like, it's not just, I find for my life, it's not just it doesn't just have to be the 5 most important people, because there's a whole pocket of people that I have where I'm like, if I'm looking to kind of decompress and laugh, those people might not be the same people that I go towards when I want to challenge myself in business, right?
Yeah.
So there is a navigation, but it is your surroundings. Spend money to go in those surroundings, because those are people you care deeply about. So I 100% agree.
Yeah, that's cool.